I became sick with diabetes when I was 8 years old, and that sort of affected the rest of my life in a way. It's type 1 diabetes, and it's caused some side effects, including my loss of vision.
I've been in a wheelchair for about 2 years now due to a car accident, which ended up with me colliding T1 and T2 at the top of the spinal cord.
It takes someone to have an accident and become handicapped for people to
Absolutely.
change, eh?
Absolutely.
You're learning a lot from him.
Oh, 100%. I'm a totally different person, you know?
How did it change your life? I mean,
I think initially when the doctor said that dreaded word diabetes, my parents were crying. They were very, very sad. They felt guilty, they felt bad for me, and they thought the needles were going to be my biggest problem. But I imagine it's true for a lot of young diabetics. They're not the biggest problem with the disease. They're really not.
I started off therapy right after the accident. About 2 months after the accident at Saint Justin, where it was very little therapy. Like, I was just learning how to, motor skills, how to regain them again.
what changed? How did you learn to live without sight?
You know, going blind is traumatic for anybody, but I'd say that my personality helped me a lot in the sense that I'm a very positive person. And I said, okay, instead of dwelling in self-pity for very long, it was basically, okay, now what? What can I do? How can I get past this? What can I learn to do?
And I lived at the center for 8 months, except for on weekends I would go home. But I was at the center for 8 months, so that was very hard.
I'd say that at any given moment in your lives, you could become disabled. You will all become old, or most of you. I mean, unless the sad alternative arrives. And I think the impatience of people, the self-absorption of people might diminish a bit if people actually could put themselves in other people's shoes. And I don't think we do that enough as citizens.
When Emmanuel came out of the rehabilitation center in February, we went immediately to a private clinic called Aim to Walk. There are no private clinics here in Montreal for rehabilitation.
So I learned all the necessary things: how to measure my insulin with no sight, how to test my blood sugars with a talking machine. I learned O&M, orientation and mobility, how to get from point A to point B, and all that was very scary.
Marie Enfant is the only rehabilitation center for kids. So Shriners, Children's, and Saint Justin. If you have to do therapy, you all end up at Marie Enfant. And if I tell you, everyone I've told in Montreal, no one knows what Marie Enfant means. And I didn't either. But I lived there for 8 months. And through living there, I really had to put it on the map.
And as a matter of fact, if I had to be perfectly honest, if I could get my sight back and have to give up my dog, I would choose my dog over my sight. I just love them very, very much. And I'm managing okay with the visual impairment.
What have you learned? What would you say to people?
I would have to say, no matter what your surroundings are, no matter what your family is thinking, your friends are thinking, it all comes down to one person. That one person is you.
Like I said, I did 2 degrees with my vision problem. I've managed. I live alone, so I'm quite independent. And it was a period of adaptation, though. You have to learn to do things differently.
So you can choose to follow whoever's being negative, or you can choose to become a positive person. And I chose that road, to become a positive person, and that's what's helped me on my journey to recovery.
But that's just me. I can't speak for other people because I know a lot of other people struggle for a very long time with it. I have my brief struggles, but I usually move on and get past it, and it's not the biggest issue of my life. It's a consideration, but it hasn't made me change into a different kind of bitter person or anything like that.
Are you always a patient person? I mean, now you have to be really patient.
Honestly, I'm the most impatient person you can ever meet in your whole life.
So tell me, how hard is it? You must have to be really incredibly patient.
No, well, I've adapted, of course, but I'm very impatient. But I understand what has happened, and I understand what I have to do to get better. So I would say I'm very patient now.